Okay, I'm going to take a look at a couple of the most commonly missed practice questions from today's practice quiz. So if you're at home tonight looking to do a little extra review or have some free time tomorrow morning, these are ones I would look at. Number 6 was one that was missed quite a bit. I think this just goes back to using the order of operations correctly. We have to remember that we're dealing with parentheses, exponents, multiplying and dividing are on the same level, and adding and subtracting are on the same level. Both of these are done left to right. So the first thing we have to do here is look at the multiplication, and multiplication is 3 times negative 2. A positive times a negative is negative, so we have negative 6, and we still have to carry this down. We're going to have negative 6 plus negative 6. Our rule for adding says if the signs are the same as they are here, we have 2 negative. If the signs are the same, we find the sum. So we're going to take 6 plus 6, which is 12, and we keep the sign. Negative 12 would be the answer for number 6. Number 13, same mistake must have been made. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. We don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents, so we get to this level of multiplication and division, and we work left to right. When we multiply here, one of the things I preach in class is to keep the sign. Rather than leaving that as a subtraction sign, let's take care of it right now as a negative, and it'll make our lives easier. So negative 3 times 5, first step, gives us negative 15. We then bring down the negative 3, and we have negative 3 minus 15. Our rule for subtracting says we leave the first number the same. We change the subtraction sign to addition, and we change whatever's left over to the opposite. So once again, in this example, we have signs the same. We have a negative and a negative. If the signs are the same, you find the sum. The sum of 3 and 15 is 18. And again, we keep that sign. Next one I want to look at is number 22. Going back to the order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. We do have parentheses here. So we have to work within this group of parentheses first. These other parentheses you see here, I'm highlighting in red, just isolate the negative numbers. So really what we're going to do is we're going to keep these blue parentheses. We're going to leave this first number the same. We're going to change the subtraction to addition, and we're going to take the opposite of that last number. So again, from home, if you're reviewing, same, change to addition, opposite is what we teach in class or talk about in class. So inside parentheses now we're adding, which is what we want. We have different signs now. We have a negative and a positive. With different signs, we find the difference. So I'm just going to subtract their absolute values. 6 minus 3 is 3. And then I look which one's further from 0. This one's further from 0, and it's positive, so we use positive 3 here. We then drop the 6, so we have 6 minus a positive 3, and 6 minus 3 is 3. Good question. Another one, going back to that order of operations, again, we multiply before we add or subtract. So we're going to take and multiply 4 times negative 2. 4 times negative 2 gives us negative 8. And negative 8 minus 5. We're going to go ahead and leave this the same. Change this over to addition and take whatever's left and use the opposite. Again, 2 negatives when adding stay negative. So signs are the same. We have a negative plus a negative. If we're adding and the signs are the same, we find the sum. And the sum means we add them. So 8 and 5 is 13. And we keep the sign to make it negative. Last question that I want to take a look at is number 30. Negative 4 times 2 minus 4. Again, we multiply before we add or subtract. So this is negative 8. A negative times a positive is negative. We then subtract 4. Leave the first number the same. Change subtraction to addition. And take the opposite of 4 to get negative 4. Signs are the same once again. We have a negative plus a negative. So signs are the same. We find the sum. It's kind of the general rule. Negative 8 plus negative 4 is negative 12.